Hi, I'm Reverend Wendy Craig-Purcell here at the Unity Center in San Diego. Thank you so much for watching today. If you'd like to support the work that we do here, please consider making a contribution. Go to our website. It's easy to do. Thank you in advance for that contribution. I love Thanksgiving because of the feeling that it evokes. I love Thanksgiving for all of the food. I love Thanksgiving for mashed potatoes and gravy. I love Thanksgiving for funny things that have happened. I remember a Thanksgiving when I was still in high school. My mom fixed the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, but we must have had short counter space because she took the freshly cooked turkey and set it out through one of those pass-through windows on the ledge that was over in the backyard as she was preparing the gravy or something. And when she went to get the turkey, it was almost entirely gone. A dog had jumped up on the counter, knocked the turkey down, and you know we didn't have any turkey that year. Yeah. Or the year we moved into our house, this goes back about 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago now, we moved into a house in Scripps Ranch. Brand new house, model home. I was so proud, and I had a turkey, and it was back in the days when Vons, if you bought enough stuff, you could get the second turkey for free. And being compassionately frugal as I am, I got that second turkey. Well, I ran out of space, and one of the turkeys wasn't completely defrosted. You know how that goes? So I put it in the laundry room sink with the water running just to get the last part of the ice gone. And about a half an hour later, John comes down the hallway, having gone slosh, slosh, slosh. I overflowed the entire laundry room sink, water all down the floor. I love Thanksgiving. I still love Thanksgiving. I still love Thanksgiving, and I bet it would be fun if we could all sit around a table together in this room and share Thanksgiving stories and Thanksgiving memories. To me, it is about family, it is about friends, it is about appreciation. And I also know, because of the experience or the time in my life right now, having lost my father this past summer, and having spent a lot of time with my mom, who still lives now on the East Coast, being tender and sensitive to her, because I know that this Thanksgiving for her is going to be so different than any Thanksgiving that she's had for many, many, many years. And I know that there are those of you in the room today for whom that may be true too, that this Thanksgiving may be different for you than it was last year because of a loss. And all the more reason, I think, for us to remember that at the heart of Thanksgiving is the feeling of appreciation, and especially the feeling of appreciation, I believe, for each other. For each other. And that's what I want to talk to you about this morning. I want to talk to you about the fact that Thanksgiving is not just about appreciating the country that we live in and reflecting upon our history and thinking about the first settlers and all that they had to deal with and how their hardships and their difficulties and all that they lost, and the very fact that Thanksgiving is a recognition on their part of having made it through that very first, very difficult winter, despite having lost half of the people who made that journey with them. It is that, and it is so much more than that. It is a chance for us to reflect. It is a chance for us not only to think of what we are grateful for and for our blessings, but I think it is a chance for us to actively participate in making the world a better place through the constant spiritual practice of appreciation. I was reading some pieces in my notes about Thanksgiving, and I came across something that I had forgotten about. It was something that the motivational speaker and radio personality of decades ago, Earl Nightingale, had put forth as a challenge. And the challenge he had put forth was this: for 30 days, treat every person you meet without a single exception as the most important person on earth. And if you do that, your life is going to be fundamentally different at the end of those 30 days. For 30 days, treat every person you meet without a single exception as the most important person on the planet. Stretch into that for a moment. Now, there are certainly people in your life for whom doing that, treating them as if they were the most important person on the planet, would be very easy to do, right? Nod your head. Might there be anybody that you will be interacting with this Thursday for whom you might have a bit of a history, a familial history, some icky, sticky people stuff, for whom practicing that they are the most important person on the planet might just require a little bit of extra spiritual practice? Nod your head. If you just might have somebody like, some of us might have more than one, so I'm sure we'd be willing to share, right? Imagine treating every single person on the planet for 30 days as if they were the most important person on the planet. My challenge to us is this: to make this Thanksgiving about specifically appreciating and actively giving thanks for each other. Let me say that again. My invitation and challenge to you is this: to specifically appreciate, say that with me, specifically appreciate, and actively give thanks for each other. Actively give thanks for each other. As I was sitting here listening to the beautiful Thanksgiving song, it occurred to me that there are many ways that we experience appreciation and gratitude. I was thinking about how many of us keep a gratitude journal, right? Or we've done that at least. We've kept a gratitude journal, and we think about the things that we are grateful for, and we write them down, and that's a good thing to do. It's a wonderful thing to do. I was also thinking about how not only do we write those things down, but then that we might also tell somebody else the things that we are thankful for. So I might tell a friend, I'm thankful for these things in my life. And that takes it a little bit deeper maybe than just writing something down in a journal. I tell somebody else the things that I am thankful for. But I got to thinking about how it is much deeper and requires a greater degree, I think, of vulnerability to actively express our direct appreciation for each other to each other. Not just saying, thank you, I appreciate you. That's a good start. But to actually challenge ourselves to think about and be specific. What do we appreciate about the people in our lives? And then not just to think about what that is specifically, but to actually voice it. It is an unfortunate truth that oftentimes the only time we really get very clear and very vulnerable and very specific in expressing our appreciation or admiration for a person is when they have passed. I cannot tell you how many times I have sat in or facilitated in a memorial service to hear truly beautiful, heartfelt words of admiration and appreciation for the person who has passed. And I wonder, was that said before they left? And if it was, you can't ask for more. But if it wasn't, it's like that reading I read to you earlier. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Wrapping a present and not giving it. So a few points that I want to share with you about this idea of specifically expressing our appreciation and verbalizing it to the person that we appreciate. To feel seen and appreciated and validated is more than a deep desire. Did you know it is a basic human need? We are social beings. We need to feel as if we matter. We need to be seen. We need to be validated. And when we are, we flourish. When we are seen, when we are validated, when we receive appreciation, we become stronger. We become braver, more courageous, more creative. All of the good that is within us, I think, is amplified. So it is a basic human need to be seen, to be validated, to be appreciated. It is also important to realize that every day we have the opportunity to make the world a better place. Every day. We, not some saint, not some guru, they do their work, but you and I, every day, have the opportunity to make the world a little bit better, to make it a little gentler, to make it a little more loving, to take away a little bit of the hurt. How many of you feel like there's quite a lot of hurt in the world, quite a lot of sadness in the world? And you and I can never fully know or appreciate the tremendous good we might do by taking the time to appreciate someone, to appreciate the stranger, and to say something to the stranger, to say a kind word. I know it might sound so very simple and trite, but it's not. It's not. How many of you have ever walked through a period of your life with a very heavy heart, feeling like you were the only person dealing with something really painful and really difficult? Can you relate to that? And in that moment, was there ever anybody who gave you an extra smile or did something just a little bit kinder to you that you just felt that heaviness lift a little bit? Nod your head if you know what I'm talking. Yesterday, as I was going over my notes and coming to this point, I thought, you know, it's one thing to the people in our lives probably know that we appreciate them, but we got to tell them. We got to tell them and keep telling them. But I was thinking of this. What if we were to drive as if driving were our spiritual practice to show appreciation? How would you show appreciation while you're driving? Okay, careful. I would agree with that. Let them pass you. Anything else? Not tailgating, not giving less than supportive hand gestures. Huh? Let a person in line. Have you ever had a moment in your day made better because some other driver drove with appreciation and yielded to you? How many of you have ever had that happen? I think we need to be in this together. I really do. I think we need to be in this together in terms of how we treat one another. And if Thanksgiving is only about giving thanks for the things in our lives that we appreciate, I think we are missing a good part of what it's really about. It really is about seeing each other, validating each other, noticing what it is that we admire in the other, and having the courage and the vulnerability to say that to that person, eyeball to eyeball. How many of you recognize the name William James, considered to be the father of American psychology, an American philosopher? He wrote a 2-volume work called The Principles of Psychology, and in its day it was considered innovative. In the book, he wrote about human needs, but years later he said he failed to include the most important need of all, the need to feel appreciated. Of all the needs, a 2-volume book, of all the needs of what human beings require. Years later, he said, but I missed the most important one. I missed appreciation. We have a powerful story in Jesus' ministry about appreciation. You may remember this. It's a healing story, and it's more than simply a healing story. There were 10 lepers who came to Jesus for healing. And in the story, all 10 lepers were healed. Leprosy was a pretty serious and very common disease then. It's still a serious disease. He healed all 10. Only one came back to say thank you. Only one. 90% did not. Only one came back to say thank you. And the gospel goes on to say, and it wasn't even one of Jesus' own, it was a Samaritan who came back to say, thank you. It's so often that we don't take the time to say thank you to and show our appreciation to the people closest to us. And yet, in so many ways, they are the ones that need to hear it the very most, the ones who need to feel it the very most. Can I have an amen to that? Amen. There is, out of the University of Nebraska, a research project called the Family Strengths Research Project. The Family Strengths Research Project. And what this research project discovered is that appreciation is the glue that holds families together. Appreciation is the glue that holds families together. Say that with me. Appreciation is the glue that holds families together. That holds families together. I hope when you sit around your Thanksgiving table, or however you celebrate Thanksgiving, I know some of you go out and serve food at Father Joe's or other places, and that's your act and your celebration of Thanksgiving. For some of you, you may have a very quiet Thanksgiving at home. For others, it may be chaotic with lots and lots of people. You may be going away for the holiday. You may have wonderful people around you, or there may be just that one that you still think they must be from another planet. They can just not be kinfolk. I don't know how they wound up in my family or how I wound up in the, whatever the situation may be. What would it be like if you modeled and you took on as your spiritual homework to be the one that initiates and keeps a conversation going about appreciation? Not for outer things, or at least don't end it there, but appreciation for each other. If you were to make it a point to look at each person that you either serve or each person that's at that table and say, I've been thinking about you, and I've been thinking about what I appreciate and admire in you. And here's what that is. I appreciate your heart. Or I appreciate how you're always willing to step in and help. Or I appreciate how you showed me tough love at a time when I really needed it, and that tough love changed me. Whatever it may be. And don't worry about getting it perfect. Don't worry about getting it perfect. It's about what is in the heart. I believe with all my heart and soul that the world needs the kind of kindness that I'm talking about. That together we can create a more gentle, more loving, more peaceful world. That together we really can be about bringing peace on our planet. I refuse to believe that that is purely idealistic. I will not ever allow myself to believe that. And I also will never allow myself to believe that it's for somebody else to take the initiative. I know that right where I am, with the people that I live with, the people that are my neighbors, in the place that I work, and the places that I go, I have a human spiritual responsibility to always look at how can I be about making this situation a better, more loving, kinder, more just situation. And not to keep that inside, and not to be afraid that somehow I might not say it right, or that somehow they may not hear it. The fact that they may not hear it must never be the reason we don't do the good work or say the kind word or show the appreciation that needs to be shown. And the last that I would share with you is the idea that this quality of appreciation, the active practice of appreciation, is what some might call, I think it was the Dalai Lama that coined this term, enlightened selfishness. It is about what happens when we do good for others, we wind up benefiting from it as well. We truly do. And the point here is that the quality, the active practice of appreciation is physiologically beneficial for us. There is research that shows that when we are actively feeling and experiencing the quality of appreciation, the variability in our heart rate smooths out, our heart functions better. So it's a dual blessing. It's a blessing for the receiver and it's a blessing for the giver. So your practice assignment, you have homework for Thanksgiving. Okay, breathe into that. Homework for Thanksgiving, besides setting your scale back when you go to bed on Wednesday by 15 pounds, your homework, and my homework is this, to refuse to let a kind word or an expression of appreciation you feel go unspoken. To refuse to let a kind word or an expression of appreciation go unspoken. And then I challenge you for the next 30 days to treat every person you meet as if they were the most important person on the planet and see what happens. Namaste.